I don't think the used truck market is going to crash. I've heard and seen a lot of content out there why the truck market is going to crash, why these new trucks, they can't move them off the lot, right? Whether it's the Toyota Tundras or the Silverados, a lot of that content. So I'm always curious to see what other people are saying. Here's my take. I don't think the people talking about this are involved enough to really know what they're saying. And here's why I say it. We came out of a crazy high coming out of COVID where used pickup trucks were doing crack money, right? You'd be paying more for a used pickup truck in some cases than what you could get a new one for, if you could get a new one, right? Because it's all supply and demand. That's what drives used truck prices, and if it's bad enough, it drives new truck prices where they're selling for over sticker, which everybody saw and everybody hated, right? Even though people did it. So that's the comical thing is, you know, everybody wants to trash talk. Oh my gosh, these truck prices are crazy. Guys, the consumer is the one that drove the prices up. The dealers didn't drive the prices up. Like literally what went crazy is people panic bought. They were like, I can't find a truck that I want. And the people that had the money were like, I'm buying what I want, and if I can get it, I'm gonna pay the money for it because I want to be driving it. And that's always the case. So here at Mark Martin Motors, selling pickup trucks, and the reason I'm in the used truck business is because I am not subject to what a manufacturer tells me I have to sell. So if they come out with a bad product, guess what? I don't sell it. I don't have to sell it. Nobody's forcing me to sell it. If I trade in something that I know is a terrible engine or a terrible product, I don't have to sell it, which is any used vehicle dealer. Talking specifically about used pickup trucks. For instance, like right now, Stellantis, so like Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, hey, they've had a lot of issues. And a lot of that is because their new prices went through the roof, and that goes back to what? It goes back to the union negotiations. It goes back to when the labor unions negotiated, and Stellantis, I believe, was the first one to negotiate a deal with the union. They went into it, so their cost of manufacturing and producing went up because they had to pay their people more money, which in turn created higher MSRPs. And that's what you saw, and especially with Stellantis, because everybody's like, holy crap, this truck's not worth 80,000 bucks. It used to be 60, or it's not worth 60, it used to be 40. Well, when you pay people more money, that's what happens automatically, guys. Like it literally, that's cost of manufacturing. And the other thing is too, they have to keep manufacturing them because the union negotiation, they have to pay their people no matter what. So whether they're working, making trucks for them, or they're not, they have to pay their people. So that's why you see an influx of trucks that they can't sell because they're higher MSRPs. However, what happens when that truck drives off the lot new and all of a sudden is now a used pickup truck? When the value's right, dealers will buy it because they know they can sell it, right? When the dealers start to sell that inventory on their lots, when I start to sell trucks, I figure out the price point that they're selling at, and that's when I make sure I go pay at auctions or I pay from other dealers. You know, we're not stupid. We know, hey, this truck's gonna sell at a certain price point. Maybe some of us are stupid, but anyhow, like that's the goal of it, right? So like for a Ram pickup truck, right now, they have the nastiest depreciation. They have the highest depreciation on a used pickup truck. I should say among the major three, right? So like GM, Ford, Ram depreciates the most right now, but a lot of it's because their MSRP shot up the most over the past couple years. So I guess my point in that is, in the used pickup truck market, it's based on what people are willing to pay. The new truck market, it's controlled by the manufacturer. And when the manufacturers feel enough pain, sure, they incentivize their dealers to reduce pricing, to give promos on interest rates, to give, you know, thousands of dollars off MSRP. But when that happens, what happens to used truck prices? Do they stay high? No, they come down too. Everything's constantly adjusting, right? So the used truck market, for example, okay, and this is a Cox Automotive stat, which is all Manheim, Kelley Blue Book, Auto Trader, like standard depreciation, and this is across the used market, is around 5 to 6%. Okay, that's standard annual depreciation. Usually you're seeing a 5 to 6% depreciation on any used vehicle, right? Depending on the model, depending on the exact vehicle, that's going to change, of course, but it's average. The past couple years, we saw a 15% depreciation. Okay, so you're talking 2-3 years of a 15% annual depreciation on vehicle values. Basically, the bottom line is everything's constantly adjusting. Why do I sell what I sell? Pickup trucks, because they depreciate the least. Typically speaking, pickup trucks are a safer segment of the market where if you buy it, there's a higher demand for pickup trucks. There always is, because you can use them for anything. It's literally a vehicle that you could buy. You can take your wife out to dinner in, you could take the kids to the beach in, you can pick up your mulch in, right? There's a lot of uses for it. And guys that have businesses, guys that use vehicles for work, they're buying pickup trucks, right? So all of that kind of protects that, where you don't have as high a depreciation in that as you would, say, a luxury sedan or a full-size SUV. Some of those segments, you have some crazy depreciation. All that goes to say, guys, as far as the used pickup truck market crashing, there there's all of that kind of background. But the bigger things we have in play right now, I'm doing this video right now before we find out exactly what's going to happen with tariffs. Our current president, Mr. Trump, there's going to be some tariffs coming out, which are going to impact truck prices, right? They're going to impact all vehicle prices, but any part that's not manufactured in the US, right? Semiconductors in Taiwan, any vehicles that are imported, anything that's coming in that's not made in the US could potentially have crazy tariffs on it. What's that going to do, right? It's going to drive up prices of any vehicle that we have now in the United States because they're going to be tougher to get. They're going to cost more to make. All those tariffs, they're talking 25 to 50% tariffs on some of this stuff. That's going to drive your pricing up, right? And it's going to drive it up on new and used pickup trucks. Okay, so you have that. We have that unknown coming up. By the time this video is released, we'll know what that turned out to be. You have the fact that coming out of COVID, coming out of what was that, 2020 and 2021, there was hardly any vehicles new being leased. There was a major shortage of vehicles. They didn't have to lease them. Typically, the lease programs come out when the manufacturers want to move stuff. That's when you see a ton of vehicles being leased because it's how they incentivize the consumer to buy them. You can buy this truck for $500 a month, right? Well, you get no ownership. Some people it works out really well, but it's an easy way for the manufacturer to move vehicles that have been sitting. You didn't see that because there was a crazy demand. So what does that do? So now we're 2-3 years out of COVID from 2021. All those vehicles we would have seen come off lease, the 2 to 4 year old vehicle that we would have seen come into the market used off lease, we're not seeing. There's a major shortage of quality used vehicles, and that's what's going to keep prices elevated. That's not going to change until they start incentivizing leases on new vehicles, which they're doing more of now. You're seeing these high MSRPs. You're seeing the manufacturers having to incentivize vehicles, and they're going to start to incentivize and push leases again. All of those factors. Then you have, pick a truck, for example, okay? This burgundy AT4X, okay? This is a 2024 with, I think, 11 or 12,000 miles on it. It's the 3-liter diesel. It's GM's loaded up off-road pickup truck, okay? Brand new. MSRP is gonna be upper 80s. I think it's probably $87,000, $88,000 on that truck. With the rebates they're doing and the incentives right now, you're probably gonna be able to buy that truck for upper 70s, right? So it's about, there's probably 8 to 10 grand that if you qualify, you can get off that truck brand new. So you could get a brand new 2024 with no miles and you can pay probably upper 70s and own that truck. This truck, so it's a 2024, 12,000 miles, on my lot for sale is $69,900. And you guys are gonna say that's stupid money, I never wanna pay it. However, for the guy that's looking at a brand new truck, for the guy that's actually looking for that truck, and trust me, I sell a ton of these trucks, that's almost 10 grand he can save for buying a truck that has 10,000 miles on it. And my customers love that savings. And that, to be honest with you, is what happens in the used truck market. It all adjusts. So if that truck brand new, you could buy it for 70 grand, guess what? That means used, it's gonna drop down to probably low 60s, right? That's the savings, that's just what happens. It automatically adjusts. That truck's gonna drop another 10 grand this year? No way. Like, not happening. Because the new trucks, they're not taking 20 grand off a new truck. Before they do that, they're gonna run a crazy lease deal on that truck. If they have to move that truck, you're gonna see leases being done. You're gonna see them incentivizing things in other ways. They might give you super low interest rates. There's ways they can move it, but they're not taking 20 grand off that truck. The manufacturers would be losing their butts, and they're a lot smarter than that. There's other ways they can move them. That's my take. Again, you can see, you jump on my website, I have over 100 trucks for sale, and we sell a lot of trucks every month. That's what I do, and what I pride myself in is specializing in pickup trucks, in knowing what's going on in the market. I buy probably 15 to 20 trucks a week. I'm always watching the market. But guys, comment on this, give me your take on it, but I'll be completely honest with you, and you can come back to this video in a year from now and we can see exactly what happened. But this is my business, this is what I do, and this market is not changing like that. Do we see a 5 to 10% depreciation on certain model vehicles this year? Of course you will. Raptor R right now that's selling for 10 to 20 grand over MSRP, that truck's gonna drop. Just like the Ram TRXs did when they first came out, just like the regular Raptors did when they first came out, or heck, you wanna go into the EV, right? You look at what the Ford Lightnings, what they were selling for, the Hummer EVs, those trucks were doing crack money, and what happened? There's not a demand for them. People were like, I don't want an all-electric vehicle. It doesn't make sense for me. It's a luxury item. It's fun, or it's cool, but it's not practical. Pickup trucks like this ZR2 that a guy can use for work, that he can use to commute, that he can use every day and rely on, those are the trucks that are not going anywhere, right? So like your crazy depreciation, will it happen on these models that are rare and hard to find? Of course. But That 2024 AT4X, the 2023 Denali 1500 sitting beside it, those trucks in a year's time, you'll see those trucks drop a couple $1,000. They're not dropping crazy. If you look at it, right, the truck that you used to buy for $30,000 is now 40. The truck you used to buy for 20 grand is now 30. Those models have all increased, and the cheaper price point has all increased. So try to buy a $5,000 pickup truck. It doesn't exist. And if it does, you're just wondering when it's gonna blow up, because the honest truth is the truck that you could buy for 5 grand, what is it now? Probably 15. Those trucks don't exist, and those prices have increased. It's across the board. That's what happens. But guys, give me your take on it. I've been in this business for, gosh, what's it been? Probably 15 years now. I'm 3rd generation. My dad was in it. My grandpa was in it. We're always watching this market and seeing what's going to happen. From a used truck dealer, this is my business. It's what I do. That's my take on it.